John, did you want to respond to what I just mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, again, I respect people going into public service for sure. I certainly don't want to do it, and we need to have somebody do that. So nothing is personal. However, based on my experience over the last 10 years, um, the challenge was when you come up with those sound economic principles, it was met with, I wouldn't say resistance, but it conflicted with an ideology. And the
Mm,
ideology really was predicated on the redistribution of income and wealth. And when I poked hard asking that question, like, why is that?
to
The,
who?
the,
To
the
who?
let's just say very senior political government officials. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
And the
Okay.
response was to save democracy. And
Mm,
after I fell off my chair and said, well, what does that mean? It was resistance against the rise of right wing authoritarianism, largely coming from our southern border. And I had to remind the individual who said that to me, saying, you know, authoritarianism equally comes from the extreme right and the extreme left. And in fact, I will list to you more examples on the extreme left. And I think they paused and looked at me saying, so are you accusing me of being extreme left? I didn't say that. But
mm-hmm.
what does that really mean? When people say um, something like that, it really was policies designed to keep a perceived right wing threat out of Canada
Hmm.
in this fear of lack of democracy, um, which is code for we need to get more and more votes in this country to keep the conservatives out of power. So, hence,
Mm-hmm.
the focus in on policies must be on things that are very populist, particularly for folks that are perceived to be at lower income thresholds. And you don't have to look any further than, we now have a liberal leadership race. And much to my shock and chagrin here, we have the leading folks that are actually now espousing policies of maybe we need to reverse the carbon tax, maybe we need to reverse the
Mm-hmm.
capital gains tax. My head's exploding in that I've been fighting you on this. And
Mm-hmm.
don't you understand that the internet exists? You are on record as early as a month ago. And what's happened, of course, is when the populace now says, well, maybe those ideas are good ideas, the ideology shifts. So, what that tells me is there really was no reason for so many of these policies other than the perceived belief that you would attract more votes. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
serious problem. And that's when we get into serious trouble from an economic perspective.
And that's exactly where we are. And to me, my read through is that they just want to stay in power. I mean, and you're even seeing that with the fact that we can't even get an election going. So to me, it's
Right.
a real power play. They might say it's about democracy. It's about them implementing their beliefs on other people. For me, government is to work for the people, not be about the people in government continuing to be in power to get their pension funds, which we all know exist as well. What I also find astonishing, to your point about here we arrive at this economic demise right now in Canada for such a phenomenal country, great population, great people, education, beautiful land. And there is a food scarcity, period, let alone, I'm sure you just saw that there is a state of emergency declared in
Yes.
Kingston, Ontario, because one in
Unbelievable.
three can't afford food. How is this possible? And those are the people that the government, Christia, Trudeau, Carney are actually going after and thinking that they're helping. It's so disgusting to me, John. I actually want to drive to Kingston. I just can't even believe it that this is
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. No, it's astonishing. And, Canada is a paradise. It is a remarkable place. But take your head out of the sand. We've really
Mm-hmm.
messed it up. And here's the good news. The good news, all of the damage that's been done is reversible. It will not
Mm-hmm.
be easy. And what I worry is we've put ourselves into this horrible position. We're going to suffer some pain for it. And so we're going to have to go through some short term pain, but we've got to do a few things, simple things right.